Hello everyone, welcome to the Anuvo Learning Series videos. Welcome to the part 3 video of creating a chatbot using SAP Conversational AI and also integrating with SAP UI5 application. In the previous two videos, we have discussed about the benefits of using robotic process automation in business. We've also talked about the basics of creating a chatbot terminologies in RPA. In today's episode, we will go ahead and create our first chatbot with conversational AI. So let's connect to the tool. We have already registered on SAP Guy by using our GitHub account, and I'm right away into my Guy account using my GitHub. And now we will start creating a new bot. As I've explained in the previous video about the terminologies, we will be using all of them to create our first chatbot. If you have not seen my previous video, I would request you to please check the description of this video to find the link for the corresponding video. Let's create a new chatbot. And now the first thing which starts with the skill. So what are the skills which we want to start our chatbot with? I would probably want to start two basic skills as part of my chatbot. So let's choose greetings and small talk. And let's give some name to our chatbot. And I will name it as, let's say, Sam reset password. Of course, not for Sam, it's just for any user can use this for resetting their password. So now let's give a description. This bot was created for password management, and we can just choose here different categories. So it's basically for the purpose of customer support, and it's in English language. I would want to consider this as personal and non-vulnerable. Let's also go ahead and choose it as a private and say create a bot. So this will now start creating our first chatbot in the system, and immediately you get a nice beautiful button here to chat with your chatbot which you are currently building. So as I mentioned, I have added the skills which are default skills to our chatbot, and these default skills will be used by the system to initiate the conversation. So you have no intents right now. By choosing one of the below, we can get started with the intent. So maybe just add English intent for greetings, and you see it's already added over here. Now let's also go back to the build and see what are all the skills which are currently added to our chatbot. So you can see there are three skills. First is small talk, greetings, and fallback. So let's go to greetings and see what are all the trigger points for greetings. So whenever user greets our bot with using some greetings, being hi, hello, hola, all these different words, the chatbot will trigger this particular skill, the greeting skill. And as a result, there is no requirement to perform an action, so it's empty. And action from the chatbot side will be, chatbot will probably say following of below. So maybe let's test this part. I will just go back. So what are all the different greeting words? You can also find them in your intent. So intent name is greetings. You can simply go to train and go to this greetings. And you can see these are all the words which are part of the greetings intent. All of them different, but coming to the same meaning as a end outcome. So whenever user says any one of these words, ultimately my chatbot would sense, and that becomes a trigger point for the skill, greeting skill, and it will then go ahead and greet the user. So let's try this. Just come here and say, hey, and wow, there you go. Hi, nice to meet you. So that's the very first test of our chatbot with a quick skill set which is predefined by SAP. We have added to our chatbot. So what next? So maybe we can just also go and check more. So you can also test more things. For example, small talk. This is also predefined skill which was added to our chatbot. And let's see what are all the good points for this. So you would say thanks, want drink, happy, laugh, okay. Reset is happy, get news, ask creator, insult, joke, ask a joke, yeah, ask feeling. So let's try some of these options. So maybe I just say, how do you feel? And oh, I'm all right, thanks for asking. Awesome, guys. You see, I guess that's the sentence which has been maintained in the intent so-called ask feeling. So let me try some more. Maybe I would say I will give a compliment. So it's nice to meet you. And so glad to hear you're happy. Awesome, guys. So you see, it's already working by sensing as a trigger point out of these intents, and this intent includes collection of expressions which are then sensed by the chatbot, and accordingly it is triggering the action. So one of the action randomly it will pick and it will send you the response. You can see here. So ultimately it's going to just give you one of these responses. Awesome. So that's your very basic, simple chatbot, which is right away live the moment you add it. Okay. So now what else I want to do? I want to actually build our use case, which we have seen in the video number 1, as Mr. Sam says hello to the bot. Of course, this part is already done with the predefined greeting skill. But now there's a specific requirement. This is your exact requirement, is to reset the password. So chatbot then should give a proposal for the systems in which the user wants to reset the password, and that becomes again a requirement for the chatbot as an input which system user is interested to reset their password. The chatbot then would send a reset link for the password. So let's go ahead and achieve this. So for that we will now build a new skill. Let's go to build, and I want to create a new skill altogether. So let's create a skill. I would say, hey, reset password skill. And say create a skill, please. And of course, as you all know, the skill contains trigger point, requirements, and actions. So trigger point will be, of course, a beginning of conversations. So of course, user would want to reset his or her password. In that case, user would give you some kind of statements like, I want to reset my password. Can you please reset my password? I want to change my password. Kindly change my password. All of them comes out to be the same meaning. Hence, we have to now go ahead and maintain training data set as our intent with all these possible sentences. And guess what? This also is very helpful as far as this chatbot is concerned. They give you a lot of proposals. I'll show in a minute. So this reset password skill we have created, but on what basis this should trigger? So that is what first we need to maintain intents. So let's come and maintain some intents. I say create an intent, please. And let's give a name. Say if the intent is reset password, let's say want to reset password. Click on create and go inside, and let's maintain some expressions inside. So I want to reset password. Press enter. Can you please reset my password? Enter. And you see, the moment you type, the AI is also proposing you what are all the possible statements which can come out to be the same meaning. So I can just expand and say, can you please change my password, reset password, please take my password, reset my, okay, I want to reset my password. So all these means same thing. So bot is proposing you that you can maintain all this as part of your intent. I would say add, please. Okay, I want to get password, I want to make password, I want to make password. Let's also add that. So these are all the different statements which when given by the user, my bot will match one of them and sense it, right? At the same time, I would want to or look forward for special words, all right, inside the statement. What is that one or two word or combination of word which identifies that this is what exactly user want? So for that, we will also go ahead and create and go back to intents, and I will create something called entity. So let's create an entity. And I want to create a restricted entity. I'm exactly looking for that entity. So I will call that entity as reset. And I would just say create. And our chart. So you can see also in this entity, just go for change. You can check for this entity settings. You can also read the documentation pretty easily by clicking on this button. It will directly take you to the documentation for what is an entity, what is a requirement, what is an action. All the complete documentation link is given there itself. So you can go ahead and read about all these terminologies which are used in building a chatbot. And you can also effectively utilize this documentation to make your chatbot work flawlessly. All right, let's come back. Just go for that's my entity name, and you can also create more entities here if you wish to. And we just go back to intents and go back to my intent expressions, and in these expressions now we'll mark entities. Okay, it's suggesting more. Can you please reset? I want to get password. Yeah, that's also making sense. Let's add that. So let's go ahead and now say what is that special word are you looking? So I want looking for get password. That's my entity marking. So password, this is also another marking expression, and inside the expression you're actually marking what is exact user thing is saying. So I want to say something. Can you please take my password? I think that doesn't make sense. So delete this. Can you please reset the password? Yes, makes sense. Reset your password, or reset password, or change your password. This whole thing makes sense to be an entity. And reset my password. Yeah, I want to reset password. So all these are all the entities. So the moment you find them, yeah, the moment you find them, you would see, okay, yes, this is what exactly user wants to do. So we just mark them. Now we are done. And with that, let's go ahead to our bot and see if it is really working fine till here. So the good practice is to keep writing small intents and keep feeding these intents to your skill, and then keep testing on time to time basis. So let's go back to the build, and we go to reset password, and I'll say, hey, this particular skill reset password should trigger whenever I find somebody is requesting for reset password. That's what I've just created. So I just save this, and if this is present, this is going to trigger my skill. The skill name is reset password. As a result of this skill, I would want to ask further questions to the user. Which system would you like to reset your password? So I would say if this skill is matched as asking or request password change, then in that case, what you just say, my bot will now reply, send a message asking user which system user would like to change the password. So let's ask for a reply. Which system you want to change? I want to reset. Yeah. And let's add quickly. So suppose in your company you have about 3 systems right now, and you can also mention them quickly. So you can say FES, and I'll say, what about FES? And then S4HANA, for example. And just say, what about S4HANA? Then we have ECC. What about ECC? So that's a quick reply. It will propose the user that any one of these you would like to change. And I want to also add a 2-second delay while sending this message to the user. Say save and back. So let's test this much at least. Is it triggering our bot on request of a reset of a password? And is it asking this question to you or not? This much we will test. Let's come back. It's your bot here. And I will say, hey, it replies me with hi there. And I'll say, I want to reset my password. And yeah, awesome. See guys, the moment triggering condition is matching. What is my trigger condition? The trigger condition is this particular statement. It's matching. It is immediately giving me a requirement. It's asking me requirement, which system. Now it needs to know which system. And the moment you choose a system, of course, it's going to then correspondingly do the further steps. So now, right now, it's no reply, which is fine. We are going to build it further to go ahead and trigger an ultimate action to send a link to the user. So let's do that. So I'm going to go back to my skill, and I go to training data set, and let's create another intent where, let's say, if user asks you, what about this system? I want to change in this system. Can you please change in this system? All these are similar expressions. So let's go ahead and maintain once again a new intent. So user talks about system. So user will tell our bot which system he or she wants to change. So let's create, go inside, let's add some expressions. What about FES system? Can you please reset in S4 HANA system? I want to change in FES system. Please reset for ECC system. Kindly make it for S4 HANA system. I want to change in FES system. They all comes to be the same meaning, right? You can see some more expressions. Do you want to go back? Can I reset? And I want to upgrade. I want to appear. I want to work. I want to change. Kindly make it in this system. Please reset in this system. So these are our expressions, by the way. Okay, just add this one. Want to change, make it friendly with S4 HANA system. Okay. So these are all the possible user inputs. And in all of these inputs, if you carefully observe, there is something in common, which is the system details, which is actually needed by us to process the name of the system, if it is valid, and then accordingly give him the link, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Once again, I'm going to create an expression which is going to take it, entity, which is going to bring it out, this information or the system name for us. So let's go to entities and just create a new entity called system name. So it's once again a restricted entity, and say create. And let's go back to the intents, user systems. There's so many expressions, and I'm just gonna extract out exactly our system. That's a system name. Out of the sentence, my bot is able to extract out exactly the system name. So that's how you can also use this later point of time to write further control in your bot. Suppose if it's a different system, then you would want to give different links to the user. You can also take it out easily. So see, just go back. So basically, we want to know the system names. And that's your. All right, that's it. So let's go back. We are done. And now we have about 18 expressions in user systems and 2 entities. So now let's go back to the build and password. And would say triggering point is definitely this, when user requests for a system change. But at the same time, it's important that both the requirements are met. One is if user really want to change the password, also user tells you the system name. Yeah. So system name must come. Yeah. I just put that here. So these are 2 requirements now in order to process further my processing. Yeah. So here in the first requirement, I'm asking also the system name. If he gives, then second requirement will anyway be satisfied, or user himself herself tells you system name. All right. Once both these requirements are done, a final action will be triggered where I would say add a message. So when both of these requirements are met, means user want to reset the password and user tells you the system in which he or she wants to reset the password, we are finally going to add a message. And maybe here at this time, you can call an external service in SAP system, the corresponding system you can check. And then on that particular system, you can trigger a external service to reset the password. You can also write a fallback logic. You can write an update conversation. So you can update conversation also, or you can just send a message. So right now, we just for simplicity, we want to send a message. And this time I want to send a card with the message. So in this card, you can send nice, beautiful URL and also the link and a button. So let's do that. So I'll say, click here to reset, link to reset. And I want to give a beautiful image URL. So let's go to Google and search for security image. And then I will go to images, say so many security image logos. Just search for a security logo. Just a small one is what I'm looking. Maybe this looks good. And we can take the URL. Let's see if this works fine. Say copy image address. Let's come back, paste it over here. It's not picking up. Just go back to another one. All right, let's try. Awesome, looks good. Not really. It's looking too big. Just gonna go and find a lock. Ah, makes sense. Let's get it. And we just paste that over here. Oh, it's too big. Let's search for a small one. An icon type, yes. Oh, wow, amazing. Pick up something colorful and try this up now, finally. All right, looks fine. Now I will add a button with a link, and this time, guys, I would like to take an opportunity to go to our website, https://unabouttrainings.com. Awesome. So that's what I want to do. So click here to reset. That's what I want to do. Save this. So that's what we want to send to the user as a response, ultimately as a link to reset their passwords. Okay. Of course, you can do a webhook. You can yourself reset and send a message back to the user. There are a lot of these things which you can do. We wanted to keep this tutorial simple so that you can at least get hand-holding of basic stuff on the chatbot. Now, let's go back, and I think we are ready to test. So let's go ahead and test our bot. So I will start with a greeting, hello, and it says, hey, and I'll say, I want to reset my password. I want to reset password. And now it's asked me which system. Yeah. So I can also tell the system, or I can choose the system out of these systems which is proposing, and I'll say ECC. What about ECC? Oops, no reply. There's something wrong. You can also debug the chat here. So you can keep the logs on and you can see what's going on. So what about S4HANA? And you can see it's actually running in action. So there's some problem saying no reply. I don't know why. Maybe we have to just cross-check what is the problem. So let's go back and cross-check what's the problem. So possibly the reason could be why it's not going to the action is because this one. So you see here user-systems, that's our another requirement which has to fulfill. Only then system is going to trigger an action. So first requirement fulfilled, that's perfectly fine. That's the reason it has asked me next question about, hey, which system would you like to change? So that's the requirement fulfilled, and it asked me the system. But now when it asks me system, I am just requesting the system. And when user choose a system, basically we are getting what about ECC, what about S4, so all that we're getting. So now in that case, make sure that your expression fulfills this need. Go back to the expression, train dataset, user systems, and do we have a what about? No, we don't have a what about expression over here in the intents. So let's add an expression, what about system, and just also add this expression over there. And in this, of course, we have also ECC as my system name. So I have enhanced now to make it work. I've enhanced my intents to also support this expression. Yeah, this expression was missing in my intent. So let's go back. It's a good example actually how you can make your chatbot improved. Okay, and I think we are done. So let's start one time, clear everything, and we'll start once again. Let's give it a try. Hey, I want to reset password. And it says which system, what about S4HANA? And oops, once again it's failing. So let's go ahead and check what's wrong now. Or maybe before that, maybe I want to now once again want to reset password and let it give me, okay, it's not giving, so maybe I want to reset password and it's me give me system, so I'm going to choose exactly ECC, and oops, it's still giving no reply. So possibly there can be also a problem with our action. So let's go and check. We can also debug here what's going on. So just give what about ECC once more, and we can just check the log. Small task is triggered. So you see, small talk was triggered. So what about ECC is already an expression in the small talk, and this confused our bot to basically give the right reply, because this was there also. What about is also there in small talk. So it has actually triggered that skill because it has met that requirement. So maybe we need to change a little bit in our expression. So let's go back and we will use one of the expression. Say I want to change in the system. So that's the expression I want to use when user gives me the reply. I want to change in the system. So let's use this as it is. Copy. I want to change in the system. So let's go back and here and just go back to replies. Change. I want to change in FES system. So the only reason why I'm showing this way is so that you can also understand, just in case you're stuck somewhere, how can you adapt your expression and intents accordingly to make your chatbot respond properly. Yeah, that's the whole idea why I'm doing intentionally these mistakes. All right, let's save this and let's go back and let's give it a try one more time. So let's try once again, clear everything. You can keep the logs on if you wish to, just to see which skill it is triggering based on trigger points. So you can say hello. Of course, it's going to trigger the greetings skill. Now the next is I want to reset password. It's going to trigger our reset password skill. Of course, you can see it has triggered our reset password skill, and as a response, now it's asking another requirement, fulfill the next requirement. So I will say FES. I want to change FES system, and now you can see action running, send a card. Okay, so see, fill the requirement, system name also it has found, and now the action is running. It's sending a card, but it could not send the card because of maybe, let's see what is the reason. So you can also debug here. Yeah, so let's see why it cannot send the card. Looks like this whole image is creating a problem. Yeah, maybe this image is creating a problem while sending the card. Maybe we have to change the image. It's not supported. Yeah, that's the reason. Let's go back and I'm going to go back to action. So this image which we had put is the problem. All right, I think we have not put the image URL, rather we had put the complete image itself. So let's correct that. So got a URL, and now maybe we'll just try to change that URL. So instead of using the image as a complete base64 decoded data, I will use the correct URL of the image which I've got from the internet. So let me just paste this. This looks even better. Let's click on save. And now go ahead and retest our bot one more time. Let's go back, clear everything, and I will now test. Hey, how are you today? That is going to, of course, trigger your small talk and says everything is fine. Let's say I want to reset password. And it's asked me system. Of course, I say ECC. Requirement means awesome. You have got now the correct reply from the system. Let's click here and voila, there you go. It's taking you to anubhavstrainings.com. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. If you like this video, please let me know your comments in the below comment box. Do let me know if you want to hear more from me. And in the next episode of this learning series video, we will see how to integrate this particular chatbot with our SAP UI5 application. See you in the next video. Feel free to subscribe to the courses available on anubhavtrainings.com. If you are interested to learn more on machine learning, feel free to subscribe and send us an inquiry for SAP Leonardo course on our website. With that, thank you so much. Catch you up and goodbye.